Hello, everyone. Good evening. We are here to present our final discussion for Management 801, the Executive Leadership in Organization. I am here, Shadi Shahada, with my team here. My team is Adriana Mayumi, Victoria Galstian, Muhammad Shahidullah, Farhana Sabha Tahina, and McLaren Dice Silverio. I will start, when we are talking about the leadership in times of disruption, Uber stands out as a case study that challenges what we think we know about success and ethic and power. So at its peak, Uber was unstoppable, a global disruptor redefining transportation. Yet beneath the innovation, there was culture breaking out under pressure, internal conflict, ethical collapse, and public outrage. Tonight, we will explore how Uber moved from chaos to credibility, not by chance, but through data-driven strategy and leadership reformation. We will look at how the company rebuilt trust, restructured its leadership model, and aligned ethic with performance. Let's take a closer look and what's guided our study. Yeah, the objective of this study is simple but powerful: to analyze Uber's strategic leadership response to organization crisis using data-driven and theory-informed lenses. We wanted to uncover how companies that once symbolized disruption but also dysfunction managed to evolve it through leadership transformation. From leadership standpoint, this case is about learning how ethics, culture, and innovation interest under pressure. It shows us what's happening when leadership fails, and more importantly, what recovery looks like when guided by accountability and integrity. Now, before we are moved to the historical context, let me outline how our analysis was structured. Our scope focus on three unconnected pillars: the ethics, trust, and strategic renewals. The ethics is how moral breakdowns and accountability gaps led to crisis. The trust is how leadership rebuilt credibility internally and externally. For strategic renewals, it is how structure and cultural reform became two foundation for long-term success. We used case study methodology, integrating leadership principles with real organizational data, examining how leadership behavior influence measurable outcome like satisfaction, compliance, and trust. Think of it as a before and after leadership X-ray, showing how Uber's DNA changed under new leadership. And on that note, I will hand it over to Victoria, who will take us into the heart of the story: Uber leadership crisis between 2014 and 2017. Go ahead, Victoria.
Thank you, Shadi. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. This is Victoria Galstian. I will talk about leadership crisis at Uber 2014 to 2017. So here you can see the repeat growth, aggressive expansion. So during this period, Uber went through a major leadership and ethical crisis that becomes widely known in the business world. Between 2014 and 15, Uber experienced exemplary repeat growth and aggressive global um expansion. However, this growth came at a cost. It created a highly competitive and sometimes toxic internal culture. Then its 2016 reports of workplace harassment and unethical behavior began to surface serious problems in leadership and company values. 2017, right? Delayed Uber decisions, CEO forced out. And the key issues during this time were ethical force, a lack of trust, and cultural driven by fear rather than collaboration or accountability. Next slide, please. Okay, here is ethical breakdown and servant leadership. Uber's downfall during that period can be understood as an ethical breakdown. Leadership failed to mention transparency and allowed relations agency employees who spoke up. Servant leadership remedy, and the other one is princely listening, empathy, stewardship. Thank you so much. And then will be continue my group member. Thank you so much.
Hi, this is Adriana Mayumi Machado Tsubo. I want to talk about a strategic turnaround on Adera cross-Photic. The colonic era grows at all costs, cultural toxicity, and the Dara era ethic, transparency, rebuilding, and trust. Strategic alignment with the stakeholder values, focus on sustainability and reputation. Now, next, please. The KPI's strategic metric to the driver satisfaction, driver satisfaction index, diversity and inclusion goals, compliance and ethics scoreboard, stakeholder trust and metric. These KPIs allow the leadership to measure culture the same way they measure profit, reinforcing that integrity is quantifiable. Sorry. Now I'm gonna pass to my next group mate, Mohammed, please. Can you explain for us?
Thank you. This is Mohammed Shahidullah. I'll discuss about the transformation leadership in action. Now let's look at transformation leadership in action using Dera's leadership style as an example. Dera is known for leading with ethical vision, humility, and trust. He doesn't just talk about values, he models them. Through his openness and transparency, he inspired a sense of renewal and purpose within his organization. Instead of focusing on short-term results, Dera kept his eyes on long-term sustainability impact, ensuring that every decision aligned with the company's mission and integrity. His leadership perfectly reflects Bas and Rigueur's four dimensions of transformational leadership. First, idealized influence. Dera led by example, earning respect through integrity and consistency. Second, inspirational motivation. He communicated a clear and uplifting vision that energized his team. Third, intellectual stimulation. He encouraged innovation, inviting new ideas and challenging the status quo. And finally, individualized consideration. It took time to understand his people, supporting their growth and development. Altogether, Dera's approach shows how transformational leadership can create not just results, but a culture of trust, innovation, and lasting impact. Next slide, please. Let's talk about complexity, leadership, and innovation using Uber as an example. Uber operates in what we call a VUC environment. There's volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. To survive in such a fast-moving space, Uber's leaders have to focus on adaptability and continuous innovation. Instead of tight control, leadership acted more as an enabler, empowering teams to experiment, learn, and make quick decisions. According to complexity leadership theory, there are three parts. Administrative leadership keeps things structured, adaptive leadership sparks creativity and flexibility, and enabling leadership bridges the two. Uber's real success came from balancing control with emergence, staying organized, but still letting innovation flow naturally. Thank you. To my next number, please.
Thank you, Muhammad. In this slide, I'll be discussing building and collaborative culture. Hi, everybody. My name is McLaren Di Silverio. I'll start with the first point that you can see on the screen. But before that, the entire collaborative decision making and distributed leadership at Uber. It's Uber's evolution from fragmentary startup to global mobility platform has demanded a shift from centralized control to distributed leadership. This transformation is crucial for agility, innovation, and responsiveness in a fast-moving industry. Going on the first point that you can see on the screen, from control to collaboration, it's actually a shift from centralized to a shared authority. Historically, Uber's leadership was highly centralized, but recent years has seen a deliberate move toward empowering regional and functional leaders. Decisions around product features, market strategies, and customer engagements are increasingly made closer to the ground, allowing for faster context-aware response. Second point or second box that you can see on the screen is embracing diversity. It's inclusion of diverse voices. Uber's workforce spans continents, cultures, and disciplines. Collaborative decision making ensures that diverse perspectives, from engineers in San Francisco to operations teams in Nairobi, are heard. This inclusivity fosters innovation and helps Uber's design services that resonate across markets. The third point is power in unity. It discusses empowered cross-functional teams. Product development at Uber often involves engineers, designers, data scientists, and operation experts working together. These cross-functional pods are given autonomy to experiment, iterate, and launch features like Uber Pool or driver incentives without waiting for top-down approval. And then lastly, the transparent and flat. It discusses flattened hierarchy and open communication. Uber has invested in tools and practices that promote transparency and open dialogue. Platforms like Slack and internal forums allow employees to challenge ideas, share feedback, collaborate across levels. This flattening of hierarchy helps break silos and build trust. Uber's embrace of distributed leadership isn't just a structural shift, it's a cultural one. It reflects a commitment to agility, diversity, and empowerment in shaping the future of mobility. The next slide that I'll be discussing is about cultivating a culture of integrity. The first item that you can see on the screen is values that guide us. So, new values do the right thing. In Uber, Uber's shift from aggressive growth tactics to values-driven approach marks a pivotal cultural transformation. Do the right thing emphasizes integrity over expediency, encouraging employees to prioritize ethical decision-making even when it's inconvenient. The second one is speak up safely. Safe feedback and whistleblowing channels. In Uber, Uber has implemented anonymous reporting tools and third-party ethics hotlines to ensure employees can speak up without fear of retaliation. These channels are critical for surfacing misconduct early and reinforcing accountability at all levels. The third point is everyone belongs, inclusion, respect, transparency. Uber renewed focus on DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion, includes inclusive hiring practices, employee resource groups, and transparent communication from leadership. Respectful dialogue and openness are now core expectations, helping rebuild trust after past controversies. And then the last point in the screen is leading with trust. So from fear-based to trust-based engagement. Historically, Uber's culture has described as competitive to the point of cutthroat. Today, the emphasis is on psychological safety, where employees feel safe to take risks, admit mistakes, and challenge ideas. Leadership training and team norms now promote empathy, collaboration, and constructive feedback. Thank you very much. Up to the next.
Thank you all for the detailed insight of our presentation. And to wrap up our presentation, now I will present the key conclusion and also the strategic recommendation. Uber's story shows that leadership is not static, it evolves. The company's shift from aggressive performance-first leadership to ethical, inclusive, and also first leadership to ethical, inclusive governance demonstrates how strategy and integrity can coexist. Uber's leaders learned that culture is a strategic asset when it's nurtured. It drives innovation, engagement, and trust. What started as a crisis became a blueprint for renewal. Next slide, please. Here are some strategic recommendations. To maintain this progress, we recommend continuous learning through executive coaching, regular 360-degree feedback and engagement surveys, ethics and inclusion as leadership KPI, digital leadership training for hybrid environments, encouraging innovation with moral responsibility. Uber's success today proves that ethical leadership isn't just good character, it's good business. Thank you all for listening.